Oops.
And we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Wrong
Best podcast ever.
button. Yeah.
Remember that one episode where Paul didn't drone on endlessly about nothing?
No, actually, I don't. I was going to kick this off by saying they came for my IO, and I said nothing because I didn't want to get sick. And so,
Nice.
yeah. Yep. Google has, for those who aren't aware, Google's canceled the in-person portion of IO. They're going to be streaming it or doing something.
The in-person version of I.O. is what we would call I.O.
Yes, I guess that's fair. They're probably going to stream it on something like Google Hangouts, Chat, Meet, whatever it's called this week,
Jeez.
and no one will be able to find
Sure.
it. But maybe on Allo, I don't know, Wave, something.
Well, Google Plus.
Yeah. Oh, yep.
Start a Google Plus community.
Mm-hmm. Get you in your circle. What's that called?
Yep.
Yeah. So now everyone's looking at Microsoft saying, "Hey,
You know they're going to cancel it. You know.
I did not mean to do that, but
There are people in Seattle. I mean, Seattle's one of the hot areas for this stuff.
Mhm.
So, it's just the way, this is going to be this year. This is now, now you start thinking about, oh, well, they moved Ignite a little earlier in the year.
yeah, Ignite might be a little far out there, but we can go ahead and cancel
I know.
CES. We can get that one out of the way. We can get 2021.
Yes. Yeah.
CES.
Let's next year's just in case.
Can we just start picking the ones we don't want?
CES might be the reason we have this thing in the United States.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, so we'll wait and see if Microsoft does anything. Well, not supposedly. Amazon has come out and said that one of their employees has the virus. Unconfirmed. Do not run with this or whatever. But Raphael tweeted a post on Blind, which for people who aren't familiar with Blind, it is a message board that you can only join if you have a company email address. So you can't register for it unless you have an @Microsoft account. .com or @Google or whatever. A person said that they have the disease or whatever, the illness, and so we'll wait. Yeah, we'll wait and see if Microsoft actually comes out and acknowledges that. But
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, this might be.
I will say, for whatever. I mean, I know people are dying, right?
Yeah.
I get this. I
Oh,
mean,
it's serious.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's serious. But we're also talking about something that is basically I want to say slightly. I mean, a slightly more dangerous version of the flu, the seasonal flu. Thousands of people die every year from the flu, and it can escalate further and so forth. But as far as like the percentage of people who get it and have problems from it and die from it, it's not. It's not. At least it's. Again, I'm not trying to make light of this, but it's not quite like the zombie apocalypse. Like we're all not falling like dominoes here. I mean, I think the issue here is whether, we deal with the flu every year. I don't think people think of the flu in terms of people dying, although, by the way, that does happen.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Yep. But this could be one of those new seasonal things. Like we talk about the flu every year. We get flu shots, and doesn't always work, obviously, and maybe this becomes another thing that just keeps happening. So, thanks, China. Great job.
All this really makes me want to do is just keeps pushing me closer towards that dream of just buying a farm and just being near nobody.
Yes.
The only thing
I was looking at a map of the United States, and it had red areas where all of the outbreaks are, dark red for the really bad ones in cities. And, of course, what I was looking at were the parts of the country that didn't have anything. And I was thinking this like a perfect little slice of, I'm going to call it southeastern Montana, that is as far from anything on the map as you can get. If you have to stay on the East Coast, there's a little part of maybe south central West Virginia that you might want to consider. Those would be great places for farms. If you don't like people or don't like the diseases that people bring with them, like the little carrier pigeons that they are, those are two areas you could, consider. Yeah,
there we go. That's where, what's the internet like there? And does it have Amazon Prime? Those are like the two.
Yeah, so the answer to both is no. The internet is probably not good. Actually, West Virginia, it's probably fine. I would imagine the Great Plains of the whole eastern 7/8 of Montana is probably not great. But What are you going to do? Satellites. Musk will figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, he's launching those things up pretty rapidly. He's kind of doesn't really care about anything else and just gets the job done. So, give him a few
it's
weeks.
turning into like an Isaac Asimov future dystopia thing, the satellite will pass over. We'll all get on and get our internet really quick.
Just enough to download the messages.
Yeah, exactly. To download like 1/30th of a Windows 10 update.
God.
You'll be done just in time for the next version.
So we'll see if Microsoft makes any announcements. I can't imagine that. I don't know. I mean, the fact that this is literally happening like in their backyard. It's not like they're looking down, looking, it's in Florida. Like, no, this is like they. Yeah.
Well, I had said earlier, that San Francisco was kind of the hotbed originally for this in the United States, and that makes sense. A big Asian population. It's right on the west coast of the United States. But that's Seattle too. It's Los Angeles. I mean, I sort of thought, look, Google I/O is going to be canceled. There's no doubt about it. Maybe it won't be as bad in Seattle. Well, actually, it turns out.
As it turns out, it's actually
bad.
Potentially worse in Seattle. So we'll.
But if you like empty airplanes and not lots of tourists, I mean, there are probably deals to be had. I'm just saying, you have a good constitution. Do you tend to get colds and the flu? Do you have breathing issues?
This is the time we should send Mahedi to build. We'll stay back.
Oh God, I think it's time he steps to the plate.
I think so too. Go solo for once, see what it's really like out in the. Anyway,
that's right. In the hard world. Is it always this empty in the big cities in the United States? No, not usually.
Building on the back of all that, Google said they're giving away 6 months of their Hangout Meets free, whatever it's called. And then Microsoft said, hey, us too. So everybody can go get Teams. For...
Exactly.
Yeah, nothing like a good marketing opportunity right in the middle. There's no way.
Cynical and true. Yeah.
Paul, our company is the size of a small shoebox, and we still have a communication video service. Like, this is, if you're a company of any moderate size, and I'm moderate meaning over 3 people, you have a way to video call people. You're not going to flock, roll out Teams to 12,000 people overnight.
You're suggesting that this is an empty gesture of some kind,
a little bit.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm sure Apple will start airlifting free iPhones into the affected areas, so
just
people
dropping them from helicopters.
Exactly. They're really.
Tim Cook's out there just throwing
still
out
give
the
away
old
free
iPhones.
Apple TV subscriptions so you can enjoy.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of the name of a show they have. I don't know, whatever those shows are. For All Mankind is a good one.
The other thing too is Teams. I love this. The NFL is now adopting Teams for all their teams.
We wrestled between the 3 of us for a good headline there. Mahedi eventually went with one of my joke headlines, but that's fine. I mean,
do you really think they're using Teams? I don't see Tom Brady sitting down in front of Teams, opening up a thread and being like, "Oh, this is what I'm."
Yeah, Tom Brady added you to a new group, and it's like offensive linemen.
Yes, and it's him getting sacked, just going, "What the."
Yeah, it's just right. They just send each other videos of each other getting hurt.
Yeah.
I don't. No, I don't know how to say. I feel like what's happening is Microsoft is trying to embed themselves so thoroughly into this organization that they can't be removed, right? So that the NFL won't switch to iPads because look, we're doing all this other Microsoft stuff here. I just feel like it's that kind of a thing.
They're probably also feeling some pressure too, because Amazon struck an AWS deal with the NFL last year.
Right.
When there were tons of use the AWS cloud. Microsoft is probably thinking, we probably should be more all over that. So.
Yeah, but the Amazon, of course, broadcasts some of the games, right? I think they do some of the Thursday night games, so they did. My video is freezing nicely, by the way. I wonder if that's me or you. I'll assume it's me. Yeah. Okay. It might be related to that. That Microsoft doesn't really have a video. I know they have a TV and video purchasing service, but they don't really have a streaming thing online like Amazon does. So
yeah. So that's That's fun. I'm gonna rehash a joke I said on Twitter. That the scandal for the upcoming football season is the Patriots are going to be found cheating because they were using Slack. I thought that was
I'll
pretty
allow
good.
it.
I thought that was pretty good.
Right. I live in Pennsylvania. I am the butt of many Patriots jokes in
As
this
you should
area,
be.
as you might imagine, between my family and my neighbors.
Your kids,
It's a little
maybe.
annoying. No, my kids are Patriots fans.
If they went to college, they will.
They like winners, Brad. They like winners.
My daughter we were talking about cheating because she was playing Uno and clearly cheating. And then I started cheating. And she's like, Daddy, why are you cheating? I'm like, because it makes me win. Like, well, that's
Right.
why people cheat. They don't cheat to lose. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I just listened to a podcast about the Balco steroid thing and all the athletes that were caught using steroids and blah blah blah. And it's there's a lot of debates over whether those records that the baseball players got hitting home runs and so forth should stand. There's a debate right now about the Astros, right? The sign stealing and whether they're Super Bowl,
Trophy.
not Super Bowl. Yeah, their championship should be taken. World Series, thank you. Should be taken away. These are debates. I mean, I think in athletic endeavors and sports, I mean, doing everything you can to get an advantage is the norm. It has been since the days of the Greek Olympics. I mean, baseball players in the, I don't know, 50s or whenever it was, used to chew tobacco because there was a little bit of a buzz to it. Like that's how tobacco got into baseball. That's what people are still chewing tobacco. It's like a thing. You don't see people chewing tobacco on a basketball court, but for some reason in baseball, no, we think about it, it's weird, right?
No, I know.
That's where that comes from. Like,
well, it's also because it's so boring too. Like,
okay.
can you imagine like
you're
LeBron running down the
golf? You can't. You come on.
like
come
LeBron
on.
running down the court with like a lip full.
Exactly. There'd be like no one in the front row. It'd be like a Gallagher concert where everyone has like a sheet in front of them. It's so terrible. Anyway, the point of this is only that, yes, I mean, you cheat. Right. Of course, people cheat. I mean, people do everything they can to give themselves an advantage in every situation in life. That's human nature. I mean, and that's why I think the Patriots are the most human of all NFL teams. Wow. He says to silence. So I don't know. Yes. Anyway, your daughter was cheating. Yep. She's a cheater. She comes from a long line of cheaters.
Learn from the best. I mean,
speaking of cheaters, are you going to have a second situation where a star quarterback comes out of college and refuses to play for your team? Is that actually going to happen?
no, he's been nice. He's been nice. Joe Burrow. There's been a lot of stupid speculation about like him not wanting to come to Cincinnati. First off, I will drink live on this show if we don't draft Burrow number one. Like we would.
Yes.
Even if it turns out to be a complete flop and he does terribly, like this is the right decision. All the data says he's the best quarterback. We need a quarterback.
Now, but you know your team better than I do, and I got to tell you, I don't see a lot of football smarts going on there. So I'm just, from the outside, I could kind of picture them not making the right decision, which is a little alarming.
I could see them like drafting an inside linebacker number 1 overall because that's what the Bengals would do. But he has said himself
they drafted a pitcher
that he's going to play. So plus the way the contracts are anymore, it's not like he can refuse. Like first round draft picks have a set contract anymore. It's not like they get to negotiate. It's like, this is what it is.
Right.
He's also from Ohio too, for that matter. So
Yep.
so if he doesn't play, we'll break his knees. But
well, based on your offensive line, it's possible someone else will break his knees.
Well, the best thing to know about the offensive line is that they are in fact offensive, but offensively bad. Not
well, that's what I meant. I mean,
not.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of standing around while the guy gets injured in the background there.
Mm-hmm. That was the problem with Dalton. Dalton's actually a pretty dang good quarterback. The problem is that he can't run. Like he's not a scrambling quarterback. If the pocket collapses, he's dead. And that was a pretty significant problem.
This was the problem with Tom Brady's predecessor, whose name is now escaping me, Drew Bledsoe. Mm-hmm. Great arm, great athlete, but I mean, I could run faster than this guy. Like he's like a slab of rock.
Yeah,
Like,
Andy runs like a drunk toddler, which was which was a problem. And so,
oh my God.
like, if you actually look at his stats, they're not bad. Like, especially against
Right.
he's not a bad quarterback. He was just on a bad team.
Yeah, that's
So,
too bad.
and it's been too many years, and it's like, hey, if we're doing this rebuilding thing, which they got a new coach last year, but it's too late to make any changes. Like, if you're doing
Right.
a rebuilding thing, you got to do a rebuilding thing. You can't
Yep.
do
Yep.
it. So you got to start somewhere, and I think that's where it's starting.
Rebuilding is its own form of cheating. If you think about it, we're going to throw games. We're going to like give away all our best players with the goal of gambling.
Hmm.
It's like we're going to cheat so we can gamble to get the best possible players in the draft. Like it's, again,
Hmm.
there are degrees to everything.
Yeah. Back on topic marginally. Microsoft is testing a new start menu design that they showed off on their Windows Insider podcast stream yesterday. It's
Yep.
nothing crazy, but it kind of fits the new icons a little bit better.
I think it looks exactly like the current one. They just don't have live tiles. They just have icons
Yeah,
with
just
squares around them that are the size of like if you put an application in the tiles area that doesn't have a tile,
mhm.
like I think the Office applications are like that. That's what it looks like. It's just an icon inside of a tile. I mean, it's like
that's why it's marginally redesigned. Like it's live
well,
tiles are dead, and they're
I know, but why not just?
why not just
They
get
made
rid
this
of them?
thing for Windows 10X. Just use that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. My guess is that
If
it's
you
maybe
want, by
not
the way, you
ready.
want like meaningful experimentation. I mean, do something that is a little bit like the Office.com interface or the Office app, where it provides an area for your recent documents and so forth. I mean,
Mhm.
make this thing actually useful. Having a list of icons on the side, a list of apps rather, and then another list on the right where the icons are just
Yep.
bigger
Yep.
is
Yeah.
it doesn't
No, I
even make
actually
any
agree with
sense.
that. I think having like your last 5 visited websites, your last 10
Hmm.
open documents,
Yeah,
like kind of
make it a feed that people can decide what's in there.
yeah, almost sort of like a timeline of things that you've
Yes, if only
used.
there was a UI for that. Oh, well.
Yes. Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
Just a thought. Just
Just
a
a,
thought.
just a, yeah, just a.
We're just spitballing here, and in 2 seconds we came up with 3 ideas that are better than the stupid news. Neither one of us went to school for this kind of thing. Like I just use computers every day, and I think that I mean, how hard is this?
So here's our game plan, Paul. If we go to build, we will get drunk. That's usual. That's nothing new. But then we will take it to Microsoft campus and just walk into the Windows building and just be like, "Hey, this is what you're gonna do." Just
Yeah, sure. Actually, what we need is like not pitchforks, like
pitchforks.
signs like when you're on strike, except the strike signs will each be like a live tile. And we'll like pick it outside of building 33 or wherever those guys are.
I'll just
I
carry
assume
around
it's
a
still building
tombstone
33.
because that's basically what these things are. So
Yes. Yeah, live tiles are good shape for tombstones too. That'd be a good design. Just put them out, like make a fake graveyard out of these things, put them in the parking lot. You've done it again,
gonna
Microsoft.
say.
Great job.
stay tuned. We're gonna
It's
expand
the
upon.
makings of a plan.
Yes. Oh man, this has been a great episode. Just all over the place.
Just compelling.
Yeah, riveting stuff. You got anything else for today? Hopefully
I
not.
think there's a delivery coming. I might have to run because no one else is home. My dog has come running down the stairs.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for today, folks. And if we don't see Paul tomorrow, it's because his dog mauled the FedEx guy, and he's now in prison.